People, how are you doing today? This is KhaazRa, Marinu, coming straight at you. So anyway, I'm being a little goofy right now. This is my third talk in like 45 minutes, right? So what I want to be quick on this one because I don't know if I'll be able to continue talking. So I want to talk about how you can grow your business, how you can scale, right? And I want to give you a quick hint. You cannot freaking do it alone. You cannot scale and grow your business alone. It will not happen, right? So let me give you a quick example of why you cannot do it alone and why, in order to grow, whether it be in personal or your business life, why it's so important to do it with someone else. Case in point, in your personal life, right? If you just go on a mountaintop by yourself, alone, there's no challenges there to make you grow. Let's say you need to learn how to eat properly, and you know, fast food is probably not a good thing for you to be around. So now you can go to the mountaintop where there's no civilization per se, and there's no fast food tempting you. But then what happens when you go back into civilization, right? You're not gonna be able to live on the mountaintop forever. You know, maybe the tiger may eat you, so you know, you gotta get out of there. When you go back into civilization, right? Or maybe you have a perverted mind, so you go to the mountaintop alone where you're not perverted by all these beautiful women and things out here. I'm talking to men, obviously, right? Or it could be a woman, you know, you're perverted too, you're a freaking nymphomaniac. And you go to the mountaintop and you're alone. You're probably gonna get into, and I shouldn't say this, but you may, you know, become obsessed with masturbation, right? So you haven't really resolved the problem, right? Or once you become, you know, you go the other way. And anyway, so long story short, I didn't want to say something. So once you get back in civilization, that's when your growth actually starts, because now you're being challenged to grow. It's almost like, you know, you can't grow your muscles just by sitting there meditating, right? You can't just look in the mirror and the muscles start growing, you'll start getting in shape. It can't happen like that. You have to push yourself. You have to break down the muscle structure in order to properly grow, right? So when you're in your personal or your business life, to grow, you need to be around other people, right? That is how you absolutely freaking grow. Of course, you need your time alone and things like that to reflect on what you've learned. But if you're just reflecting all day without any experiences, which is kind of hard to have a whole ton of experiences all by yourself, right? People make the world go around is absolutely true. So to grow in your business, you can't do it alone. Just like you can't grow in a relationship unless you're with someone else, right? That's kind of like how you have a relationship. So, and I know I hear the term, I'm doing me or do you, which I don't necessarily agree with that, because there's other people to consider, you know what I mean? And that's why relationships are so key, because you can't just do you. If you're in a family, you can't just do you. Do you win, right? At what point do you just do you, right? In a family, you have to consider, you know, your significant other, if you have children or something like that, your parents, your aunties, your uncles. You can't just, you know, and if you're at a company, you can't just do you as well. So in nothing in life can you just really just do you alone, especially for a long period of time, right? And I hope you understand the context that I'm saying that. So in your business, you're not going to be able, if it's a brick and mortar business, you can't be the salesperson, you can't be the cashier, you can't be the custodian, you can't be the accountant, you can't be the marketing person, you can't do all of the legal work as well. You cannot grow alone by yourself, right? So if you want to actually, and I give you an example here just to qualify myself, and I should have done this at the beginning. We had our first month where we did $69 million per month in sales, right? $69 million per month in sales. So we average about $65 million a month. So we're definitely doing over $1 billion. No masterminds, no venture capital, no investment groups, no nothing like that, right? So we did that. But, and I was the only sales guy. I was the entire sales operation. My partner was the entire back office operations, right? He's an entire back office, right? We did not get to $69 million alone with just us two, right? We had to build a team. We had to bring in a ton of other people and share in the profits that we had already built up that I didn't even get a chance to realize, right? So you have to build a team if you really want to grow. It's literally impossible to grow without building a team. So growth, just consider growth, people, growth, challenges, right? You have to have those, right? And with people come challenges for freaking sure. That's why I think if you're able to deal with people, it's going to be one of the most sought after jobs, or not even, let's say, jobs or consulting. You just be so much in demand, because I don't think a computer will ever be able to replace that, right? The person who can actually deal with people and manage different personalities is going to be king and queen, right? Because that is such a freaking skill. It takes a lot of skill, a lot of time, and a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, a lot of introspection, and a lot of experience, to be honest with you, right? It takes a lot of that, right? So another thing you could do to grow is to do collaborations, right? Doing collaborations is freaking key. I know something super well, you know something super well. How about we come together, right? Just like you see in the entertainment world, when two great actors come together in a movie. One may have a strong, serious personality. The other one may be kind of funny, right? Or in music, maybe one does rap, one sings, or maybe they both rap. Those are collaborations, right? So you want to be able to do great collaborations in order to grow your business, and that's a way to kind of like bring in other people without you necessarily having to pay a bunch of people, right? The next thing you could do is a partnership, right? And the reason partnerships are key is because if my bottom line or my livelihood is tied into it, more than likely I'm going to take it serious, right? You don't want to get into a partnership where you just you partner up with somebody and they have nothing to lose, right? I mean, there's no motivation for them to do anything in any direction whatsoever. So you want to partner with people who have something to lose just as much as you do, right? Be careful with that. And the other thing you could do is you can outsource. Now, outsourcing can be tricky. It could be super freaking tricky. Oh, extremely tricky, as a matter of fact. I outsource offshore, and I've gone to like Fiverr and Freelancer and things like that. And some of the people on Fiverr, I mean, like, you have to think about the cultural customs in other countries aren't like the U.S., right? Where everyone here is trying to get rich or die trying, or make $1 million or whatever, right? In other countries, they're not as materialistic as we are. And maybe it doesn't cost them $5,000 per month to live. Maybe it only costs them $500 a month. Do you know what the quality of life they have with just $500 versus what we have here in the U.S.? We was in Thailand in December, and my wife and I were in Thailand in December, and I think we were renting like motorcycles for like $5 or $7 for the whole day. And people were like, "You want a better deal?" I'm like, "You're gonna give me like what? I mean, it's gonna be like a scooter, like with just like a kickstand type of scooter." I'm like, man, what could be cheaper than this? And for $500, you could live really freaking well there. Sometimes $300. So the reason I'm mentioning that is because if you outsource work to somebody like that, they're not pressed about getting it done right away. They're like, okay, I'll do it when I do it, or I'll do it this way, And if you don't like it, what do I have to lose? So you have to be careful with that. Then there's like the language barrier. There's all these different things, right? So you have to consider that and make sure when you're outsourcing, maybe you test it out first, okay? I found an actual outsourcing agency here in Florida that has pretty good people, but you pay double, but it doesn't mean they do a way better job. What makes this company good that I deal with here in Florida is that the owner really, really, really cares about the work that the people who work with him put out, right? So that's the key right there. And then, and I think about this, also, you want to make sure who you're partnering up with and who you're collaborating with. There was something that was online, and it was like an ad, and they were saying that, they could help you grow your business and do all these different things and take you from, brick and mortar to online, and just, great for business owners. So I called the guy up, and he was like, all right, it's $5,000. And I'm like, well, what do you do? And he was like, well, we do this. And I'm like, what is this? He gave me like a like a 3-word sentence or something. And then basically he got to the point where he asked me, well, didn't you see the ad? I said, yeah. He said, well, what made you call in? Like, almost as if saying, you should be okay with paying $5,000 if you saw the ad. And obviously, he's not the best salesperson. He can't be the best salesperson, right? And if he is the best salesperson, that's probably not somebody who you want to do business with. You want to do business with people who actually care, right? Where if you give somebody a certain amount of money, they're going to find out from you afterwards, did you get a result, right? And I'll tell you, I've spent a ton of money on some of these seminars and courses, and I don't always get a result. And most of these people never even get in contact with me after that. So you really want to do business and collaborate with people who have just as much to lose as you do, or they really do care, you know, about what product or service it is that you get from them, right? So be careful of that. I gotta drink some water, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for waiting for me. So here's the other thing. And I kind of threw out a whole bunch of stuff, but you want to organize, because you don't want to go, and the last thing is you want to blast off, because you don't want to, you know, do all these things without being organized, right? Because think about it, you know, sometimes we jump into things and we don't really understand what we're doing. Let's say, you know, and there's a really good case, but let's say you wake up one day and say, how did I get here? How did I end up with 8 children with somebody who I hate? You know, or how did I end up with this lady who was just totally mean to me, you know? Or how did I end up with this guy who's physically, emotionally abusive to me, you know? And you stuck, so to speak, you know, or you connected forever because you have children or something like that. So you definitely want to be organized in your approach. And I know that may not be a good example, but let me give you this example. There's a guy named Gary Null who did a case study. And I think it was Gary Null who did the case study, where these people were followed, or maybe he was reading a case study. They were followed for about 20, 25 years, and they ran marathons several times a year. And these people looked great in their 20s. Some of them looked okay in their 30s. By the time they got into like the higher 30s, especially mid 40s, they were broken down. Kidney problems, liver problems, hip replacements, knee replacements, which can still happen even if you do the things properly, because, you know, when you're pounding on your knee and stuff like that. But the whole point of it is that the reason that and they actually looked at people who were running marathons, who were organizing their approach, and they didn't have these same issues. And here's what they found. The level of free radicals that were created are like astronomical when you're doing these marathons and exercising. And just so you get a context of what free radicals do to your body, let's say you cut an apple, right? And if you leave it for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it begins to turn brown, right? The apple begins to turn brown because it begins to oxidize, right? And oxidation is what creates free radicals. So that means the apple is aging very fast, very rapidly. So your body also does the same exact thing. When you're running, you're getting more air in. I know you definitely need air, but remember, the air has all kinds of pollution in it and things like that. So you're creating free radicals. Even when you exercise, you're creating free radicals. So the way to properly help balance that out is by taking tons of nutrients, right? Getting the proper rest, which I don't do. So hopefully, you know, I curb that at some point. But free radicals were created, and these people, they just jumped in. They didn't really organize properly, right? And they suffered. Even after all that hard work, they suffered. And you hear people say, oh, eat what you want to eat and drink what you want to drink and do what you want to do, because people who exercise die anyway, but they don't really understand why. You know what I mean? Of course, I don't know why everyone dies, but these people who ran these marathons didn't properly organize their approach. They just jumped into it. They didn't do the research, or they didn't look to see, like, you know, or maybe the information wasn't there on how to properly balance their bodies out and stop free radicals with antioxidants. Antioxidants means oxidation or breakdown, right? So you definitely want to organize properly, because you don't want to end up like those marathon runners at the end of the day, or like some of us who are in relationships and we wake up one day and we're like, man, I wasted so much time and money. You know, I wasted all this time and money with someone who I should have known, you know, wasn't a good fit. And sometimes our instincts tell us, right? Every single time I've done something, and also my business partner, every time we felt an instinct not to do something and we've gone against that, or we've ignored it, we've been burned every time. So, all right, people, I'm out of here. Listen to me at www.KhaazRa.com. You can find me everywhere at KhaazRa Maranu. KhaazRa Maranu. Whew, that's a long one, right? All right, be good, people. Thanks for listening.